And whether you are a senior or whether you just need some sort of assistance, especially as a result, let's say if you are single or you are married or have support on certain levels, but your spouse still needs to go out and work to pay the hospital bills or whatever medical bills, or just to keep afloat financially, there is a service here in Santa Clarita called Santa Clarita Home Care Services. And here to talk about some of the services they do provide, Rick Ferrante. Good morning.
Morning, George. How are you?
I am great. So let's talk a little bit about this. And off the air, because we usually are here and we talk about senior care, and which is very important because we do have a lot of seniors here, and especially the baby boom as it moves forward, we are going to get more and more seniors. But one thing we don't often think about is people in practically any age as adults who maybe have undergone some sort of serious medical care, post-surgical operations, things like that, don't necessarily have the tools at their disposal, or maybe friends or family to help them out.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is obviously we care for seniors. We in-home, we caregivers, et cetera, for helping them with activities of daily living. But what we found, and we've had a lot of calls, a lot of people in our agency where have called and said, look, the situation I have, whether it's a senior or anyone of any age, somebody's had a surgery or some kind of event or some kind of medical issue that they're in a hospital or being discharged from there. And that period of time, that is pretty challenging. Here you are, you've got emotional issues, you got, somebody's obviously has some issues, medical issues there already. And it's very difficult to kind of get your mind around, okay, now what do I got to do just in that whole discharge process? And navigating the whole medical community, the whole, what equipment, who do I call for this? I have physical therapy to do. I've got to get, things, a hospital bed. I've got to do whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of kind of series of things. It does sometimes include care, and it many times would be seniors. But it could be just a whole range of things. And you and I and everybody who are, sort of just regular folks, we're not prepared or kind of have those tools to say, I can be an advocate. I could be someone that can help manage all that. And that's something our case managers do, is they'll go through and say, okay, you're being discharged from the hospital. Now what do you do? Let's help you out. And that's
exactly, and that's the thing. Even if you do have a spouse or someone there for support, that still, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the time or the ability or the knowledge to navigate. You're right about that. How do you get, especially if you need particular equipment such as medical equipment or even anything else. Sometimes even medications. Sometimes making sure that things are covered and everything else. So that's really important as kind of a patient advocate,
right,
that you guys offer.
It's not, these aren't the kind of things that everybody goes out and says, I really want to know a lot about this all the time, because it's not that fun. It just isn't. I mean, I know a lot of things about, cars, my next car. I know a lot of things about the next TV I want to buy, right? Because it's fun. It's kind of stuff you go out and think about. So when the time comes for shop for that, you kind of have some, familiarity, some confidence in that. For a medical thing, discharge from a hospital, how many times have you gone and said, I'm just going to go research that?
Exactly.
You don't. So
we don't
think
about that until it actually happens, unfortunately.
And it's big, and it's important, and it's stuff that you need to have people you trust and confidence in that have some skills there and knowledge of that world. And that's the kind of thing that we can help with.
Exactly. And of course, take this website down, because just in case, I know you're not going to think about it now, but stash this somewhere because it could happen. homecaresantaclarita.com. So really important. And also, of course, senior care, patient advocates, Alzheimer's, and things like that. That you, if you've got a senior in your household, whether it's a parent, brother, sister, husband, wife, anyone that or someone looking for that type of help, because we all, especially you get to a certain age, and those of us who still have parents around, that becomes a big concern. So even networking, having that information ready for friends or family who have those questions.
Yep.
So that is really good, especially here in Santa Clarita, to be able to handle. And so many, a broad range of services that you offer, almost anything that you can think of that is necessary, especially for seniors to take care.
Right.
So that is a good thing. Now, you are going to be a guest on T's show. She's like hosting all kinds of stuff. Afternoon Drive show. She hosts the Friday matinee.
Yeah.
And now she's got the Dr. Proctor show, which is Thursdays, actually today at 1 o'clock, but you are going to be on next week, correct?
Right. Next week on the 19th, I believe that is. We're going to be talking about Alzheimer's. So just a lot of kind of elements of Alzheimer's, bringing on a Dr. Mala from Sierra Medical Group, where kind of the clinical side, understanding what Alzheimer's is, and the medical aspects to it. And then myself as I'm the chair for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So it's kind of that community involvement where you have support, education, advocacy, and as well as fundraising for research to find a cure. So it's a kind of an Alzheimer's related thing, because that's kind of some of the stuff that we deal with all the time in the agency, and so we're kind of immersed in it. And it's great. He invited us to come on the show with Dr. Mala, and should be an interesting.
Dr. Mala is my mother-in-law's doctor.
Oh, really?
So
very good.
If I tell my wife that Dr. Mala will be here, she might
She might
pin her down. Hey, wait a minute, I got another question.
Yes.
No, it's all good. But that's great that it's coming in, and I think it's really, really important. So aside from going to homecaresantaclarita.com and making sure you have that bookmark that site, also make sure you tune in to Dr. Proctor not only today at 1, but next week when you are going to be here at 1 o'clock. So perfect.
Give us a call too, 800-808-4777.
Thanks a lot, Rick.